myself, my mishpacha, my entire family, those who are from Starts as well, who very much wanted to be here, I'm sure, not able to. So the opportunity to ask for them as well. Maybe Yibir Elitzkai, Yibir Amana, who stood beside you for 50 years. Every step of the way, counted her on so many things. She had Rishyonim, good health, and nachas from everybody. Yibir Elitzkai, for all the children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren, each point to their needs, especially for those who wish to. Yibir Elitzkai, for the time Mishpacha, for the Yevidim. Yibir Elitzkai, we all had Shom and Karasatay. To Rume, for your tremendous chesed, dedicated chesed that you took upon yourself. We appreciate it very much. Yibir Elitzkai. But Shidduch, we have Bracha V'Atzlacha. Tuna Abba V'Slonetzach. Baruch Hashem L'Kikima V'Yalkov Panim, Chein Av Shetzveh Tzur HaChaim, Yizif V'Yigonu.
Who's this?
Sure, I don't recognize him. The ears be nice with.
Is that this guy Ruben he's talking about?
I never really saw myself standing at this position. Zaidi, you came out of the terrible Holocaust. You moved to America in those high times, religiously wise. You built a true Yiddishkeit family. And in those days, it wasn't simple. Where a really chesed, you always gave out money to yeshivas. You volunteered daily. You walked into Shai Tzedek, Yasara. Volunteered your whole life, and always going to learn to the shir, to the Kol Bali Basel. Always asking me what I'm learning, and telling me yeshiva is the most important. Every time I came to your house, you always were so nice, you were gentle, you were welcoming, you had your Zaydish giggling laugh. Davening was probably so deep into you, the past few years of your life, the last period, used to mumble randomly. Davening, Shabbos, Mincha, Regas Hamazon, Tehillim, for no reason. Yarmulke never came off your head. You know, like sleeping. I came to the hospital 3 times. It was always on in the past few days. During Wednesday, Yarmulke almost fell off. You couldn't hardly move. You suddenly jumped a little bit. Your hand picked up right away. Catch it. The davening is such a strong part of you. And Wednesday, when I came to visit you, you were full of tools and you were laying in bed. And
who's this?
I stuck my mouth into your ear. I started singing Hallel. I said, started mumbling suddenly. I said it was really, really deep into you.
Who's not here? Should ask. Who's not here?
You were always a role model. You'll always continue on being a role model.
Okay.
Yes, in the name of the grandchildren, I would like to ask, from you, if in the last period of life, each of us could have done a little more to be with you, next to you, just sit next to you, הובילה המוות לנצח, ומחה של דמעה, מעל כל פנים, בחיי מליץ יושר עבור עם ישראל, ובעבור המשפחה, הם בבי, שתאריך ימים ושנים. לך בשלום, תנוח בשלום, ותעמוד בגורלך בקץ ימים.
רוצים לעשות להוסיף שטות?
Past while, there's a lot of people that wanted to tell daily things, but we felt like there was no one to talk to really. We didn't feel that he was able to hear what we're saying. So I think now is the time that he's really here with us right now, as aware as it gets. The person during lifetime, when he's in a body, he thinks through a brain, and the brain sometimes has things that block some thoughts from coming out. Every person has that with forgetfulness. But after he leaves the body, so he doesn't have to think through a system called the brain, and every memory, everything you did in your life, you remember, and you're sitting right there, Levaya, he's right here, right now, aware as it gets, and we can just tell him everything we want to tell him throughout this whole time. And I think Zay really mastered all three pillars of the world that we say that the world stands on, which is Torah, Avodah, and Milos Chasadim. Think in Avodah, you know that the tefillah, the davening, we all know when we used to go to his house for Shabbos, we used to say, you know, it's time to go to Mincha. Now, in our terms, time to go to Mincha usually means Mincha started and it's time to go. But by him, you would go and you have to wait for like 10-15 minutes till they actually start davening. And I think that shows what he felt about davening. When someone shows that he cares about coming early to davening, to prepare for davening, he also shows in the whole davening what it's all about. Real Chasadim around to say, you know, he used to go volunteer, like you said, to Shabbat Tzedek, to Yad Sarah, everybody knows the volunteer that he used to do. In Torah, you know, there's two things in Torah, and these are the two things Hespaidim writes, that there's two things that gets a person into Olam Haba. Only after he's in there, the rest of the mitzvahs count where he's exactly going to be, but there's two things that get you in, and that's Torah and Achzakas Torah. And I think both of the two things, he had it really strong. Achzakas Torah, like they mentioned, all the stuff he gave to the yeshivas, everybody knows. Everybody knows. Besides the big donations that everybody knows of, to the yeshivas that he used to give, and that shows what Ma'arif Torah he was, because a person that's not Ma'arif Torah would never do such a thing. But also on the small things that he used to give, smaller, it wasn't small, but it's smaller on a daily basis. It wasn't just a one-time service that he had, but it was a constant thing that he used to do. He used to come over to me a lot of times telling me, remind me, I want to give you money to give yeshiva. I thought he was going to forget about it, but no, I didn't have to remind him. He comes over to me, gives me an envelope with money to give yeshiva. I know he did it about other people. I'm sure there's people that I don't know about that he did it also. And the Torah itself, we all know how dedicated he was to his learnings. The famous picture of going to his house and he had that small green packet of mishnayos in the coffee table. That's what he used to do on his free time. Can't imagine how many times when he went to the mishnayos, all that free time, sitting and learning mishnayos on the porch or wherever it is. Friday nights, you over here sitting on the Shabbos table saying the Mishnah with that tune. And besides that, the regular shir that used to go to, everyone says the shir, but it's a daf yomi shir. He used to learn more daf yomi. And it wasn't just that he went as a technical thing to learn and he wasn't into it, but he used to bring back, he was very into the learning, and he used to always bring back those sheets of the daf yomi, sheets that about the insights of that week's learning. He used to share with me, he used to be very into it, he used to tell me what interesting things he learned that week. I remember him telling me all the time. There's one special story that shows how into his learning he was. Not like people think that he went to the shir. At least I used to look at that. Fine, he goes to shir, technical things he used to do. We provide him the Torah, that's what he used to do. He was very into it, more than what we used to think. I remember one time he was in Beit Shemesh, he was in America, and we didn't know where he was. He disappeared for a while. The brother told me to go look for him in shul. I thought, why shul? It's random hours. He 3 o'clock in the afternoon, not Mincha, not Shabbos. But I went anyways, and I saw him there sitting with the Gemara that he was learning at Daf Yomi. I told him, you should come, we're starting to eat something, you want to eat something? Then he looks very disturbed. He told me in a very disturbed way, I learned this Gemara before. but I feel like I'm learning it for the first time. I remember, it was very important for him. He really disturbed him that he couldn't remember the Gemara he learned. And that was in the later days when the memory started going slowly. And that was at the beginning when he was still okay with memory, and it really disturbed him. And that story left a big impact on me, at least. People don't know, he was very into it. So I just want to tell him that now, after you left your body, like we said before, nothing you forget. So he was disturbed about that he didn't forget the Gemara, that he forgot the Gemara. But right now, he remembers every detail he learned. Everything you forget, you remember every single detail afterwards, and now it's all clear to you. So I end off with Mechila from no family. You didn't act in your COVID properly, especially in the later days. If there was any zilzal or any problem in COVID that we didn't act properly, you want to ask Mechila from no family. Baruch Hashem, upon him.
הקריה ומהלל אומר הסתכל בשלושה דברים ואין הטבעה לידי המלאכה והיין ואתה ולאן אתה הולך ולפני מי אתה תיתן לי בחשבון ויין ואתה ולאן אתה הולך למקום עפר ותולעה ולפני מי אתה תיתן לי בחשבון לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא גדול העצה ורב עליה אשר עיניך פקוחות על כל דרכי בני אדם לתת לאיש כדרכיו וחיסונים עליו להגיד כי אשר אדוני צורי ולא עוולת בו אדוני נתן ואדוני לקח יהי שם אדוני מבורך והוא רחום יכפר עוון ולא ישחית וירא להשיב אפו ולא יאיר כל חמתו. קהל נכבד, מסע לוויה יוצא לגוש י"ז, אנחנו פונים פה בכביש ימינה, נוסעים ישר מגיעים בדרך מספר 3. בעלי הרכבים שיסעו אחרינו עם אורות, אנחנו ניסע בשיירה, ידידים וקרובים מתכוונים בנסיעתם.